We're here in the mountains east of San Diego. These are the Cuyamaca Mountains. They're about a mile high. This gnarly oak maybe lived a century or two or more. You'll notice the inside is all burned out. But even when this tree was alive, the center part was not alive. The heartwood was filled with resins, and around the heartwood were vascular tubings that carried water and minerals up from the soil. And right in this area here, carrying material down would be the phloem, a special tissue which carries sugar in the sap. Sugar produced by the leaves that are no longer here on this Kellogg oak here in the mountains. Just beneath the bark is that phloem layer. There's not much bark left on this tree. We'll pull off a bunch. So this chunk of bark would fit right here. Protective. You'll notice it didn't burn from the outside in. It burned the inside part that was already dead wood. So the tubing that carries material up from the soil is called the xylem. And xylem carries water and minerals. The other tubing carries material from the leaves and brings the products of photosynthesis down into the roots, into the tissue of the tree itself, and keeps it alive and happy. In the mountains here, with this thick bark, what probably finished this tree off were bark beetles that would live just beneath the bark into the cambium layer, which is the only living part of the tree. The cambium layer grows inward and makes new xylem tubing, and it grows outward, producing phloem tubing. So you've got the xylem up and the phloem down, the two transport systems in a tree. This is a Kellogg oak. I'm standing at its base. I'm standing on the roots. The roots are beneath my feet, and the roots bring moisture and minerals up from the soil through the center of the tree, through little tubes in tissue called xylem. Water, minerals up from the soil through the xylem. On the periphery, just beneath the bark, is the phloem. And those phloem tubes bring down from the leaves the products of photosynthesis, sugars, and other carbohydrates. The living systems in a tree can be compromised. You can girdle a tree. You can take a knife and you can carve through the bark all the way around the tree into the cambium layer, slicing through the phloem. You slice through the phloem, and the products that produce the energy of this living system are cut off. The water continues to come up through the xylem, so the tree lives for a while, but slowly dies because the sugars are not available for metabolism. So girdling a tree or cutting just beneath the bark all the way around will cause a problem. Now, if you cut only part way around, there's usually enough left of the cambium layer to continue the growth and the phloem to distribute the materials that are important throughout the tree. Between the xylem tubes and the phloem tubes is a special layer called the cambium layer. And the cambium is about a cell or two thick. The cambium cells that grow inward become xylem cells, and the cambium cells that grow outward become phloem cells. So you've got the xylem cells carrying water upward from the soil, and you've got the phloem cells carrying the the products of photosynthesis down from the leaves to distribute throughout the plant. So you've got xylem in the center, cambium, and phloem, and ultimately bark. So the tubular system, the vascular cells, that's the transport system of a living tree.